So the only thing better than pasta is more pasta. First things first. So this recipe is inspired by pasta alla norcina, which is amazing on its own, but it's also a pasta dish I saw on a menu from a restaurant I've never been to, I know, and it's called Il Corso in New York. And from what I read on the menu, I just wanted to try and recreate it. So we're gonna start by grabbing some pistachios and removing them from the shells. And we were looking for about 80 grams worth. This is tedious, but it will be worth it. And I already know that you can buy them already shelled, but that's too dangerous for me as I would just eat the whole bag in one sitting. I'm also shelling way more pistachios than needed for this recipe because if I'm already doing all this work, I might as well eat some along the way. And here's a tip and an extra step that is optional and that is gonna help remove some of the skins left on the pistachios. Bring a pot of water to a boil and blanch the pistachios for about a minute, and then we're gonna remove and drain, place on a cloth and fold over to cover and vigorously just give a shake back and forth, and most of the skins will be removed. And you might have to peel off a few on your own, but you're left with a greener, cleaner pistachio. And we're almost done here. In a dry pan on medium heat, we're gonna toast the pistachios, and then once done, we're gonna remove, cool, and then place into a food processor and finely chop. And you can use a knife as well to do this, and then you're left with a pistachio crumble. Next, we have 4 sweet, mild sausages, and we're just gonna remove the meat from the casing. You can just slice with a knife about a quarter of the way through, and we're just gonna break up the sausage meat and we're gonna set aside. Now, I know this might look like a lot of sausage, and some people are gonna say that, but this is what I was going for with this recipe. I almost wanted it to be like a sausage gravy. Up next, finely grate about 40 grams of pecorino romano. You can always add more, but remember this is a saltier cheese. And then we're gonna smash 2 garlic cloves. We're gonna just use the cloves to infuse the oil, and then we're gonna remove them afterwards. In a pan on medium heat, add 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil and the garlic. Lightly brown the garlic until fragrant, and then we're gonna add the sausage, breaking it up as it cooks. And once the sausage is browned, you can get it as browned and crispy as you like. You're gonna remove the garlic and then deglaze with white wine. A nice glass full of whatever you like to drink. Cook and reduce the wine, and the wine is gonna help release any fond that was left on the bottom of the pan. You can also skip this step. The pasta water is gonna help release that fond anyways later on, but the wine gives it a nice flavor. Once the wine has reduced, we're gonna remove the sausage to a plate, reserving any liquid that was left in the pan for later. It's part of our sauce. All right, so this next step is optional, and if you go back to any pasta recipe on this channel, you can do this step. Essentially what we're doing is creating a sausage crumble. You can leave it like this if you want, not a problem. But for this particular recipe, I'm creating a creamy, cheesy sauce. So I just want it to be filled with sausage and keep it as smooth and creamy as possible without having sausage chunks throughout the pasta. So that's really all we're doing. And we're gonna add the sausage to a food processor and pulse until you get a crumble. Then add the crumble back to the pan. Now add 275 grams of mascarpone cheese, mix it up and let it melt. Then add 240 ml of heavy cream and a little grating of nutmeg, and we're just gonna mix and season with salt, but remember the pecorino is salty, so don't go too heavy here. And just let everything melt and mix together, and this stuff is so good. I kept grabbing spoonfuls of it, and it just reminds me of the sausage gravy like I said earlier. Time for the pasta. Salt a large pot of boiling water and add the pasta, removing it a couple minutes before al dente as we will finish cooking it in the sauce. Add a ladle of pasta water to the sauce along with the pasta, and now it's time for la mantecatura, mixing and tossing, adding more pasta water if needed. Just before the pasta is done, remove the pan from the heat or turn off the heat, and we're gonna add the cheese a handful at a time, mixing and tossing, and look at what you're left with. Luxury on a plate. Go ahead and plate it up, adding some extra sauce, of course, garnish with more pecorino, and of course, we can't forget those pistachios. And bring that to the table. I really like pasta, and this dish is no exception. Nice creaminess. The mascarpone adds a nice indulgent sweetness to it. The sausage, there's tons of it. Pistachio, and then you get the saltiness of the pecorino. I really enjoy this dish, and I hope you give it a go. And as always, the full recipe is in the link in the description below. Please like and comment. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, ciao.